5 tapes, 1 video. And if you don't know what this is about, I suggest you watch that video there. That is the first one of the series in which I explain everything I'm doing. So if you need a little explanation on how I'm doing this, it's all in there. We've got 5 tapes. I'll try to get the order right. We start with the Maxell XL2 because someone disagreed with me again that it is a very good tape and better than the TDK SA. So that's a reason to do that, because I want to prove people wrong. I'm not sure if I'm gonna. Then there is this TDK. Are we in focus? No, now we are. TDK ADX 60. An upmarket ferric tape. We have this funky Denon Lycean 60. I think it's honestly just the Denon UR. It actually says Denon RC on there, whatever that means. Then we have this beat up looking but perfectly okay sounding Philips UCX90 Ultra. And last but not least, the high-end one, this DATS MGX100. The funny tape of this one, because we always do one, is obviously the Denon. And let's start listening, and you guys see what you think, and I'll tell you what I think. In case you wonder how I managed to point the wrong direction when I tried to point out my card for the other video, it's because that image is mirrored, which is actually very confusing for me. So it was on the other side, but I'll put a little text up there. Starting off, the Maxell XL2, one of the later versions. I think this is actually the last model. I think this is a great tape. It has some, well, not shortcomings, it has some coloration of the sound. It definitely adds a bit of mid-range, which I like. I like a lot of mid-range. I don't like a thin mid-range, so it does add a little of that. It rolls up the highs ever so slightly, but not too much. Just in the upper highest frequencies you lack a little transparency, but the attack is there. The low end is great. Slightly boomy. It has a bit more than the source, but definitely very musical sounding. You can easily follow all of the bass tones, and it doesn't distort at all. Noise levels are low. I still think this is an awesome tape. So that is the XL2. Next up is the TDK ADX60, and to be honest, I expected a bit more from this one. I generally really like the AR and AD series. This one sounded a bit muddy. The attack is amazing. It's a very dynamic sounding tape. Noise levels not very low because it is a ferric tape in the end. I love the low end. The low end is awesome, but I thought the highs, though they were all there, it doesn't roll off actually like the Maxell does, the XL2. But it was a bit messy, a bit muddy, a bit unclean, if you know what I mean. And we didn't gain any musicality from that. So I was a bit disappointed by this one actually. Sounds absolutely great, especially for a ferric tape, and definitely better than a budget ferric tape, but I expected a bit more refinement, and that wasn't there. A funny tape, the Denon Lycéen, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's probably Lycéen. It says RC, I'm still not sure what that is about. It's not a great tape. It's alright, it's reliable, it performs okay, but it's definitely aimed at a younger audience, I would say, considering the design. I just realized the reels are pretty big. So this may be, this may actually be a 45-minute tape, or at least not 60. It doesn't actually specify a time, which is a bit odd, but there you go. Highs are rolled off, noise levels are high, mid-range is alright, bit boring, bit dull sounding, the low end is not great. It doesn't distort, but it doesn't really have the depth and the roundness of the actual recording. It all sounds very boxed in. This is definitely a budget tape, perfectly fine for, a simple stereo rig. This one doesn't smell of anything, so this may not even be Denon tape. This is probably some budget tape of some maker. Looks cool though, it has a medal and a bow tie, and let me see if you can see it properly. And this nail polish thing going on. No clue what tape this actually is, but it's usable, but that's really it. The Philips UCX90. This was the big surprise. I don't know in which market this tape belongs. It says UCX90 Ultra. Maybe it is a pretty expensive tape. I don't know. I never bought these new, but it's good. It's really good. It's quite noisy, but I'm okay with that. But the low end is nice and open and loose. The highs are all there without any aggression. This definitely outperforms the XL2, so it's probably also a more expensive tape. And I love how direct and musical and dynamic sounding and attacky the mid-range is where it should be, without any aggression and sharpness. And sometimes it just gets a bit overwhelming with some of the other tapes. This one didn't do that. I should get more of these because this is actually a really good tape, and it's as good as an XL2S or an SAX or something like that. So Maxell XL2S or a TDK SAX. Really nice sounding tape. Kind of a cool shell as well, I think. This one looks in a bit of a rough shape because of the tape I had to put on it because someone took out the copy protect notches. I'm going to clean it up because, it's a tape worth recording properly, and I like it. I think Philips made these tapes themselves. Doesn't smell of Philips specifically because Philips tape also has a specific smell. But God, all of the tongue twisters, did you hear that? But it's a good sounding tape. If you can find one of these, grab it because it's worth your time, and since it looks cool as well, it's kind of a nice one to record on. It shouldn't come as a surprise that that's MGX100 is the best of the bunch. Not because it's Type 4 tape, because I don't think Type 4 is that special. This is just a pretty damn nice upmarket tape. If there's anything bad I had to say about it, it is that I did notice that the upper low end is a bit thin sounding. There's some oomph missing, but then it's so refined. There's so many details in the upper highs that are in none of the other tapes that I tested, not even in the previous video. And the sub-lows are really nice. They're very musical and very loose sounding and very organic sounding. I often find that Type 4 tapes can sound a bit technical, a bit not very organic. Indeed, I'm saying it again, but they can be a bit unrealistic sounding, I would say. This one does not. This is actually a really nice metal tape, and definitely better than the MAXs and stuff like that by TDK. I already knew this was a good tape. I used it before, but I'm once more surprised by how incredibly smooth and musical sounding this tape is. It could have a bit more oomph, but that's really nitpicking. It may just be the match with the Iowa cassette that I'm using. But definitely, if you can get one of these, grab it, because not that expensive. They're like 10 euros, 10-ish dollars as well these days on eBay, sealed. And it's one of the better Type 4 tapes, I think. So definitely worth your time. So yeah, that's that then. We have a nice pile of tapes again. Here they are. This is the big surprise, the Philips. This is just funny. This one I expected more from. I do feel like I've had better ADXs, so maybe this is just, a Monday morning example, as they say in the Netherlands. I still think this is an awesome sounding tape. It may not have all of the refinement of more expensive tapes, but it has all of musicality. In a direct comparison, you may think, it's lacking a bit, but if you just listen to it on its own, which is really what you do, you don't usually compare, this retains most of the actual music compared to many other affordable chrome tapes. And this is just, what else do we have? Now I forgot which one I talked about. I guess this one still, that's a bit of a gem. Fun pile of tapes. I enjoyed that, again. Hope you did too. They started falling, but they're okay. Yeah, I'm going to close the lid of my IY because it was still catching dust. And I'm going to put this bit of video under my existing video, which has all the, here you go, you can see it actually. This is all of the video of what I've done so far with all of the different decks and all of the little text thingies and such. I don't think you heard anything there, it's all coming through my headphones, but this is the edit suite and I'm going to add this bit of video to it now. Hope you have a great night. Bye bye.